This is the lesson number 13. Why do we fall ill? Class 9 Science. We have all heard of the earthquakes in Latur, Bhuj, Kashmir, etc., or the cyclones that attack the coastal regions. Think of as many different ways as possible in which people's health would be affected by such a disaster if it took place in our neighborhood. When we do the exercise, we realize that health and disease in human communities are very complex issues with many interconnected causes. We also realize that the ideas of what health and disease mean are themselves are very complicated. When we ask what causes disease and how we prevent them, we have to begin by asking what these notions means. So, in the first of all, we must know about health. We are saying that I am healthy, but actually, what is the health? You know that health is a state of complete physical and mental and social well being. Basic conditions for good health are proper balance and nutritious diet. We must keep our personal hygiene, means we should take daily bath twice a day. We should brush our teeth. When we are drinking the water, that water should be clean. Environment where we are living, that environment should be clean. We should not make dirt there in our surrounding. Healthy air, that is pollution free air in the surrounding. And what things are there in our hand? We should do the regular exercise, and at the same time after the work we should take the proper rest. So, these are the basic conditions for good health. So, how we can keep the state of complete physical, mental, and social well being? By controlling these all conditions. Our living, it should be good standard of living and our economical status. So, these all things matter in our means health. We have seen that cells are the basic units of living beings. They are made up of variety of chemical substances, proteins, carbohydrates, fats or lipids. We have also heard the word health used quite frequently all around us. If we think about the health, we realize that it always implies the idea of being well. We can think of this well being as a effective functioning, but at the same time, as we are trying to keep our status good, economic condition good, but if sometime there are means any problems in our life, our well-being get disturbed. So there are many conditions or the agencies that is ensuring that disturbance in the structure or function of any organ or part of our body, it causes the disease or disorder. So, what is the definition of the disease? Any disturbance in the structure or function of any organ or part of our body, it may be caused due to the attack of pathogens. These pathogens are microbes, that is virus, bacteria, fungi, etc. Lack of nutritious diet or balanced diet and lack of public health services. This condition is called as disease. For example, if there is a great deal of garbage thrown in our streets, or if there is open drain water lying against the stagnant around where we live, the possibility of poor health increases. Therefore, public cleanliness is also important for the individual health. So, what is the difference between healthy and disease free? If this is what we mean by health, what do we mean by the disease? The word is actually self explanatory. We can now easily see that it is possible to be in a poor health without actually suffering from a particular disease. Simply, not being diseased is not the same as being healthy. So, good health for a dancer may mean being able to stretch his body into difficult but graceful positions. On the other hand, good health for a musician may mean having enough breathing capacity in his or her lungs to control the notes from his or her flute. To have the opportunity to realize the unique potential in all of us is also necessary for real health. So, from these both examples of dancer, musician, or athlete, we can distinguish between healthy and disease free. It is a state of physical, mental, and social well being. And disease free means it is a state of absence from any disease. It refers to the individual physical and social environment, but a disease free means it is only true for the individual. Healthy, that is, individual has a good health. But what is disease free? The individual may have good health or poor health, but there is absence of disease. So these are the three differentiating points for healthy person and disease free person. So we can be in poor health without there being a simple cause. But these there are different types of the diseases. Mainly there are two types of the disease, acute and chronic disease. The manifestations of disease will be different depending on number of factors. One of the most obvious factor that determine how we perceive some diseases last for very short periods or they may last for longer time duration. Thus, the diseases that are basically of two type they depends on their duration of the time. So, according to this, the acute disease means the disease which lasts for only a short period of time. For example, influenza, that is flu, common cold. Second type is chronic disease. The disease which lasts for a longer period of time is called as chronic disease. For example, TB, cancer, diabetes, etc. Other ailments can last for a longer time, even as much as a lifetime, and are called chronic disease. So, infection causing elephantiasis is also common example of chronic disease. Now, we will study about the difference between acute disease and chronic disease. So, the following are the differentiating points between acute and chronic diseases. Now, what about the acute disease? They are remaining for short duration and chronic it remains for long duration means they are long lasting diseases. Second point, acute disease in which patient recovers completely after the cure. But in chronic disease, patient does not recover completely. Weakness remains for longer time. Acute disease, there is no loss of weight or feeling of tiredness afterward. In case of chronic disease, there is often loss of weight and feeling of tiredness. In case of acute disease, there is short duration, loss of work and efficiency. But in chronic disease, as it remains for the longer time, there is prolonged loss of work and efficiency. Now, what are the causes of disease? What cause disease? When we think what caused the disease, we must remember that there are many levels of such causes. Let us look at an example. If there is a baby suffering from loose motions, we can say that the cause of loose motion is an infection with a virus. So, the immediate cause of the disease is a virus. But in the next question, where did the virus come from? Suppose we find that the virus came through unclean drinking water, but many babies must have had his unclean drinking water. So, why is it that one baby developed loose motion when the other babies did not? So, one reason behind that is not healthy. As a result, it might be more likely to have disease when exposed to risk, whereas healthier babies would not. Why is the baby not healthy? Perhaps because it is not well nourished and does not get enough food. So, lack of good nourishment becomes a second level cause of the disease the baby is suffering from. Hence, there are two causes of the diseases are explained below. One is immediate cause and second is contributory cause. The organisms that enter in our body and cause the disease are termed as immediate cause. For example, virus, bacteria, protozoan, etc. But second factor or the cause is contributory cause. The secondary factors which lead these organisms enter our body are termed as contributory cause. For example, dirty water, contaminated food, improper nourishment, poor standard of the living, these all are about the causes of diseases. So, why was there no clean drinking water for the baby? Perhaps because the public services are poor where the baby's family living. So, poverty or lack of public services become third level cause of the baby's disease. It will now be obvious that all diseases will have immediate cause and contributory causes. Also, most diseases will have many causes rather than one single cause. Hence, we have seen the causes of the diseases as these contributory and immediate cause. Already we have seen the two types of the disease, that is acute and chronic disease, and causes of the disease as immediate and contributory causes. But as we have seen, it is important to keep public health and community health factors in mind when we think about the causes of disease. We can take that approach a little further. It is useful to think of the immediate cause of disease as it is belonging to two distinct types. One group of the cause is infectious agent and another is non-infectious agent. In case of the infections, mostly microbes or microorganisms causes the disease. where microbes are immediate causes are called as infectious disease. Means the infectious causes in which they include the agents like microbes or microorganisms as immediate cause which spread the disease from an infected person to the healthy person. Such type of the disease are called infectious disease. On the other hand, there are also some diseases that are not caused by the infectious agents like the microbes. Their causes vary, but they are not external causes like microbes. They spread in the community. Instead, these are mostly internal agents, that is, non infectious causes means the disease which does not spread by contact between infected and healthy person through air and water is called as non-infectious disease. For example, some cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities. High blood pressure can be caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. You can think of many other diseases where the immediate causes will not be infections. Therefore, we have to see again the types of the disease, that is infectious disease means the diseases which spread due to infections by microbes. When the disease causing organisms enter our body, it causes infection and it get multiplies and grows inside in our body. For example, tuberculosis, tetanus, common cold, AIDS, etc. But in case of non-infectious disease, the disease which does not spread by contact between infected and healthy person through the air and water is called as non-infectious disease. Example, cancer, genetic abnormalities, high blood pressure, then lacking in daily exercise, etc. The ways in which disease spread and the way in which they can be treated and prevented at community level would be different for different diseases. This would depend a lot on whether the immediate cause are infectious or non-infectious. So, infectious disease in which infectious agents are common. In case of means which means of spreading of infectious disease are. You have seen that there are the different types of the disease like acute, chronic, infectious or non-infectious. So in case of this infectious disease, again depending upon the factors or the vectors, we can write the type as airborne disease. Examples are common cold, influenza, measles, tuberculosis means TB. Now about waterborne. Waterborne disease means the disease we spread due to the contaminated water. So here vector of spread of disease is water, and which diseases are occurred due to the contaminated water? Cholera, typhoid, hepatitis. Now, due to sexual contact, some diseases get spread. Hence, these diseases are called sexual diseases, or these are also called as STD. STD means sexually transmitted diseases. Examples are AIDS and syphilis. Another type is animal borne disease, the disease we spread or transmitted through the animal, that is, vector is animal here. Example, rabies. Thus, we have seen the common examples of disease caused by viruses, that is common cold, protozoans, that is malaria, kala azar, etc., intestinal worm infections that also cause, that is elephantiasis, etc. So why is it important that we think of these categories of infectious agents? The answer is that these categories are important factors in deciding what kind of treatment to use. The members of each one of these groups, viruses, bacteria, and so on, have many biological characteristics in common. Therefore, these acts as the vectors, means a contaminated water, contaminated food, contaminated air, that is polluted air, then STDs, animal born means animals. These all acts as the vectors through which these diseases get spread. Thus, there are many members of the group which here act as a carrier. So, this is important to think of these all vectors in case of means of spread of infectious disease. How do infectious disease spread? Many microbial agents as well as air, water, animal, they spread those diseases or communicated from infected person or contaminated surrounding towards the healthy person.